Good morning or good afternoon whenever you're watching this. We're going to be doing week 6 by way of video, and I appreciate y'all understanding of this, me doing it this way this week. We're going to continue our review of parts of speech, and today we're going to finish up the last 3 parts of speech: prepositions, conjunctions, and interjections. So I'm going to just go through these slides with you, and at the end you'll have the closing slide will be your assignments, and I'll also send the assignments in an email message to you so that you'll have that and can go ahead and start working on it. But let's begin by talking about prepositions. Preposition is a word which shows the relationship of a noun or a pronoun to some other word or element in the sentence. Now, when compared with other parts of speech, prepositions are unique because they only have one spelling. What we mean by that is they don't change forms as other parts of speech do. When we think about the usages of prepositions, number one, they can show relationship, and some of those prepositions are of, from, for, at, with, and others. And an example of that is Amos was a man from Tekoa. Tekoa is the object of the preposition from. Then they also show position: above, below, between, beside, and others. The cherubim were placed above the mercy seat, so it shows position. Now there are different kinds of prepositions. Some of the simple prepositions, and again, this is not all of them, but some of the simple prepositions are on this chart: about, between, through, above, during, toward, beneath, except, underneath, beside, into, within, besides, off, and without. These are simple prepositions. Compound prepositions are prepositions, of course, made up of more than one word, and some of those are according to, by means of, in spite of, along with, in addition to, instead of, as of, in front of, next to, because of, in place of, on account of. So we have simple prepositions, and then we have compound prepositions. Now we'll use this picture of an apple uh, to come up with several of the different prepositional phrases that we can come up with describing the relationship between a caterpillar and an apple. In this picture, the prepositions are underlined, and you'll see at the top the caterpillar is above the apple. Then there's a picture of the caterpillar on the apple. Then we see that the caterpillar is coming through the apple, or the caterpillar is inside the apple. On the left-hand side, the caterpillar is coming down the apple. On the right side, the caterpillar is going up the apple, and he is beside the apple. And then down at the bottom, you see that the caterpillar is below the apple. So all of these prepositions are showing the position of the caterpillar in relation to the apple. Now the position of prepositions, most of the time prepositions are going to come before their objects. And the first sentence here is rather awkward. David committed a sin which later he was sorry for. Now, a lot of people would use it that way. David committed a sin for which later he was sorry for. But a better way of saying that is David committed a sin for which later he was sorry. You really don't ever want to end a sentence with a preposition. Now, certainly there are prepositions, words used for prepositions, that are also used in different ways in a sentence that are not prepositions, and in those, the sentence can end with a word that appears to be a preposition, but it's actually serving some other purpose in the sentence. There are some times that a better place for the preposition comes actually after the object. For instance, this sentence is awkward. That's the kind of sin up with which God will not put. So a better way of saying that, that's the kind of sin which God will not put up with. So the preposition comes after the object instead of before the object. Prepositional phrases is a group of words without both a subject and a verb, and it functions as a single part of speech. So a prepositional phrase consists of a preposition plus a noun or a pronoun, and that noun or pronoun will be the object of the preposition. So prepositional phrases act as adjectives or adverbs. All of the words in a prepositional phrase come together to function as an adjective or an adverb. And we've got a couple of examples here on the screen. Used as an adjective, the table with a broken leg is downstairs. The prepositional phrase is with the broken leg, with being the preposition, leg being the object of the preposition, broken being an adjective describing the leg, but the entire phrase there, with the broken leg, serves as an adjective in this sentence. It is a prepositional phrase serving as an adjective. Then we see in the next sentence, the prepositional phrase is serving as an adverb. The rabbit hopped through the pretty garden. Through the pretty garden is the prepositional phrase. It's modifying the word hopped, so it's an adverb, and it also contains an adjective, pretty. Pretty modifies garden, so it's an adjective describing garden. Through the pretty gate is an adjective prepositional phrase modifying the word hopped. Now, preposition versus an adverb. Now, this is really very important. So we need to pay attention to this and understand that sometimes a word, again, that is a preposition is used in a sentence in a non-preposition way. So when the words from the preposition list are not used in prepositional phrases, they are not prepositions. Prepositions are always used in prepositional phrases. So if a word that is in the preposition list appears in a sentence, but it does not serve as a prepositional phrase, then it's going to be an adverb. We have two sentences here to illustrate this. The cat ran down the tree. Down the tree is a prepositional phrase, down being the preposition, tree being the object of the preposition. But in the second sentence, put the ice cream down, the word down in that sentence is not a preposition, rather it's an adverb modifying the word put. Put down the ice cream. So we're talking about an adverb, even though it's a word that's usually used as a preposition. Now let's turn our attention to conjunctions. A conjunction is a word that joins two or more words, phrases, or clauses together. We have some examples here. In words, silver and gold, and being the conjunction. Phrases, over the river and through the woods, a conjunction combining two phrases. Clauses, Mary Ann planted a flower and she watched it grow. So we've got an independent clause, Mary Ann planted a flower, and then a dependent clause, she watched it grow, and they're put together there by a conjunction, the word and. When we think of conjunctions and the types of conjunctions, there are actually three different types of conjunctions. We've got coordinating conjunctions, subordinating conjunctions, and correlative conjunctions. Coordinating conjunctions, there are only 7 of them: for, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. And you can see down at the bottom there, I've got some people remember these with the acronym FANBOYS. For, and, nor, but, or, yet, so. Subordinating conjunctions are conjunctions that glue dependent adverb clauses to independent clauses. Now, remember, a dependent adverb clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb that functions as a single verb. Now, please note that. A dependent adverb clause is a group of words with a subject and a verb that functions as a single verb. So just as we use the acronym FANBOYS for coordinating conjunctions, we can use the acronym a white bus for subordinating conjunctions, but please understand that the acronym a white bus gives us a sampling of subordinating conjunctions. It's not an all-inclusive list of subordinating conjunctions. Although, whenever, however, if, though, even if, because, unless, since. A white bus. Now again, please remember, this is not an all-inclusive list. It's a sampling of some of the subordinating conjunctions, but it's a good tool to remember at least these conjunctions by this particular acronym. Subordinating conjunctions are not all of the subordinating conjunctions, but again, it's a helpful tool to memorize some of those subordinating conjunctions. Excuse me. Now, we also have the category of correlative conjunctions. Correlative conjunctions are used in pairs, either or, both, and others, but they have the same function as coordinating conjunctions, and that just simply means that they join things that are the same. Both David and I are allergic to cats. Either mom or dad will pick you up. So correlative conjunctions are using either or, both and, or some variation of those words. Now, for just a few minutes, let's think about interjections. So we've talked about prepositions, conjunctions, and now interjections. Interjections are words that show emotion. They usually, more often than not, come at the beginning of a sentence, and they can show happiness, yippee, sadness, anger, surprise, any other emotion that really serves as an emotive entrance into the sentence. Now, the interesting thing about interjections is that they aren't grammatically related to anything else in the sentence. So it's unlike all other parts of speech. It does not interact with other words. It doesn't modify anything, and it's not modified by anything. So when we think about interjections at the beginning of a sentence, they're usually punctuated with an exclamation point or a comma. Now, if you're going to use it, if the emotion is very strong, you would use an exclamation mark. Wow, I won the race. But if you're going to use it in a sentence that's not such a strong emotion, you would only use a comma. Wow, I have a peanut butter sandwich for lunch. So the context of the sentence, the content of the sentence would determine if it's an exclamation point or simply a comma for the punctuation. Now here's your assignment for this week. I want you to write 5 sentences using prepositional phrases as adjective phrases, 5 sentences using prepositional phrases as adverb phrases, 5 sentences using subordinate conjunctions, 5 sentences using correlative conjunctions. And then also, I want you to complete numbers 1 through 10 on worksheets 56, 55, 56, 57, and 58 in your workbook. So when you complete that, those sentences, if you'll go ahead and send those to me by email this week, I would appreciate it so that I can go ahead and look over them. And if not, I'll get them from you next week when we're back together in class. But again, this is your assignment. I don't think it's going to be very difficult to complete and finish, so do that as quickly as possible and get those to me. And I will see you again next Friday in class. Hope you have a great week.